Hey DIYers, welcome back. This first repair or maintenance project I'm going to show you, any homeowner or DIYer, whether you're new to it or an existing one, should be able to do and will be able to do after this video. Now when I show you what this repair or maintenance project is, some of you are going to laugh. But you'll be shocked to know how many handymen or women out there get called to do this very project. And I don't know what they charge for, but it wouldn't shock me if they get 50 bucks for this. So what is this first repair I'm going to show you? It's replacing your HVAC filter. Now some of you, yours might not be located in the ceiling. I'm here in Texas and our HVAC system, the heating part of it's all up in the attic. Some of you might be where you live in basements and all your HVAC system is in the basement. Or when I lived out in California, it was in an actual closet. In which case it's going to be a little different for you. But they're all very simple, all very easy. So what tools are we going to need for this? Well, one, screwdriver or a butter knife in my case. And two, if yours is in the ceiling, some sort of step stool. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to notice is how dirty this is. Would you believe I got it this dirty just for this video? You can either A, take this grate off, and I'll show you how to do that and take it outside and wash it. But like right now, it's winter, it's cold, it's raining, you don't want to do that. Or B, what I'm going to do, and that is take a vacuum cleaner to it. On this particular grate, it's got two little latches right here. Now mine are kind of tight and it's hard to get with just my finger. That's where the butter knife comes in, or screwdriver. Make sure you hold up on this when you pop the second one so it don't come down on your head. In which case, the filter came down as I was pulling my grate down. But it's not horrible, but it's pretty dirty. I can still see daylight through it. So this is what it looks like up in there. That's your cold air return. For those of you that have it down in the basement, probably as you stand and look at it, there's a grate on the front or a panel. And basically you should probably be able to just push up and slide out, and your filter's right underneath there. Or maybe it's on the side and you pull your filter out from the side. If it's in the closet like mine was when I was in California, you went in the closet and there was a little narrow plate covering the area where the filter went. You just undid a top screw, take that off, and you slide the filter out. Whichever yours might be, it's very simple. Don't be intimidated. Now, let's talk about filters. They come in different sizes. As you see, this is a 16 by 25 by 1. They come in very, very different sizes, and some of them thicknesses. Some of them are even 4 inches thick. Basically, whatever comes out of yours is what's going to go back in it. So, in my case, when I go to the store, I need to get a 16 by 25 by 1. When you get there, there's going to be different ratings of filters. And those ratings have to do with how much stuff they filter out. So you can see down here at a 4, it's going to get your basic stuff. It's not going to do anything fancy. But as you move up towards the higher end, like the 10, which is what this one is, it's going to get all these pollens and lint and danders and all that kind of stuff. So in my case, having dogs and that pet hair, I got the higher rated one. 2, I have allergies, so I also got the higher rated one for that. But as you go up in the scale, the price does go up. Now sometimes you can get these in a 2-pack or a 4-pack. It's up to you. Take a utility knife or scissors and cut the plastic wrapper. Be sure not to cut the filter itself. Take the plastic off. Be careful not to bend, fold, or crease the filter because it's just all paper and all this comes off. It's very important. Which way do you put these in? Good question. It tells you. So if you look on the side here, it'll tell you the direction of the airflow. And so the airflow is up, which means you're going to place the filter with the airflow going up. Now, before you put your filter in, take a pen and write on here the date that you're replacing it. It actually comes with an area you can put that. In my case, it's February 1st, 2023. How often you change these will vary on your house, but they tell you about 90 days. So we'll put this in, then I'll show you what we're going to do next about this. So again, like I said, the airflow is this direction. Put it in up here. It might be a little tight, and that's okay. It'll help hold it up in there. If you do this while your furnace or air conditioner's on, it'll suck it up in there and hold it for you. To take off this grid, all you're going to do is lift up and pull out. And it's got these little latches right there. Put it back and do the same thing. Then it's just in reverse. Put your grate back up, fold over the tabs, you've changed your first air filter. So the next thing you ought to do, get you a calendar, and mark 90 days from today is when you need to change it. And that sound you hear, that's our next project. So you see, very simple, very easy. Let's move on. I'm sure there's more than one of us out there that's been woken up in the middle of the night by the sound of this chirping noise. Now you gotta hunt for the one smoke detector. The battery's dead. You can't sleep through it. So you're stuck getting up in the middle of the night, chasing around the house to all the different smoke detectors to try and figure out which one it is. Well, here's an easy tip to figure it out and just how simple this project is. And by the way, any handyman or women out there watching this, let me know in the comments, what's the easiest, we'll say silliest, simplest repair job you've been called out on. So how do we find which smoke detector this is? Now this day and age, especially any new homes, your smoke detectors are hardwired into your electricity. Older homes aren't like that. They're strictly relying on the battery. But in this particular house, built in 2008, it's hardwired. What do I mean by hardwired? Meaning there's actually an electrical line running to the smoke detector. So when your electricity is on and working, that's what's running your smoke detector. When your power goes out, it's when the battery takes over. So that way you're protected no matter what. But anyhow, so how do you know which one of them it's beeping? Well, on my particular case, if you look up there, you see that green light and you see that little dark spot right next to it that's got nothing going on. That's what you're looking for. Not that one. Not that one. Nope, not that one. That's the one. See that red flash next to it? That's telling you the one with the bad battery. So, how do we change it? So simple, it's gonna blow your mind. For those of you that have never done it. Again, you need the step stool, a new 9-volt battery, of course. Now, in my case, it's real easy. You just slide this panel back, pull the battery out, and on 9-volt batteries, remember they got two different ends. Slide the new one up, put the cover over it. Now, some of you will find, in order to get to the battery, you actually got to twist and turn this cover. But the other thing I do to make sure that the battery I'm taking out is bad and it's not the wiring or something, and you know you all do this, is put my tongue to it. I get no jolt. Brand new one? Yeah, that one's hot. Not like it electrocutes you. All set. Job done. Now don't go anywhere, stick around. This next repair is a little more interesting. What is that repair? Replacing this contractor grade light fixture. Now, unless you're in a custom home or a semi-custom home where you got to pick all the fixtures and furnishings, you're going to want to replace this light fixture if you're just moving in. Like in this house here, it's a starter home. They put contractor grade fixtures in. What does that mean? It probably cost them $5, no more than $10 for each one of these fixtures to put in. So that's what contractor grade is. They have nothing fancy, no frills, they're light. In my case, I'm replacing for two reasons. One, it's an ugly contractor grade, but two, the biggest reason to get me to change is it's a double light bulb and only one light bulb works. Not because I need a new light bulb, it's because the outlet where the other one goes just doesn't work anymore. So, you need a step stool. Two, in this case, the glass comes off by twisting these little set screws, and there's 3 of them all the way around. You just loosen them enough, evenly. Till the glass comes out. Now when you're doing this, turn the switch off, but just to be safe, let's go outside and turn the power off to here. If you're comfortable with electricity and doing this, just keeping the light switch off will be enough for you. But let's go out and turn the power off to this switch. It just so happens, mine happens to be outside. Thank goodness it's not raining, but it is cold. Now, in my case, they're labeled pretty good. So we got kitchen, microwave, bath, master bath. So I need to find, so in my case, I'm going to do general lights. Sorry about that. My mic quit working, so we're going to have to do this as a voiceover. Now, what you'll need is a standard screwdriver to remove the 2 screws that are holding it up in there. You see here, there's those 2 screws. Now, you only need to loosen it just enough
so that you can turn the fixture counterclockwise for it to drop out. Now, this repair I'm doing here is only good for flush mount lights. If you're going to put in a ceiling fan or a chandelier, don't do it this way. For those, it needs a special box to handle the weight. And in fact, if your ceiling fan is very heavy or your chandelier is very heavy, you're probably going to need to go up in your attic and put in special bracing. Now just loosen them enough so you see here, spin, and it drops right out of there. Now be careful, these boxes aren't nailed up in there real well, and they move and shake as you can see here.
Now, if you happen to do this without shutting your power off, just remember, don't touch the black and the white together and you're going to get jolted. But the copper is ground, you've got a black and a white. These little orange things are what they call wire nuts that attach everything together. Now this is all twisted up in here to hold it up in there to get it up into that light box, the electrical box. I'm just untwisting it so I can get these separated out. And basically all you're going to do is undo the wire nuts, and then just untwist the wire. It's literally that simple. Black to black, white to white, ground to ground. We'll see if the new one comes with wire nuts, but typically they do. You don't want to reuse these wire nuts because they've been kind of stretched out with these wires. So you want new wire nuts. And these actually look awful big for this. The wire nuts are color coded to represent what size of wires you can jam in there and tighten up. Now I'm just going to get these out of the way. Okay, see, I didn't get anything too fancy. It is you can consider it a hanging light, but it flush mounts to the ceiling. They call it a semi-flush mount. It's not that heavy. I won't need any extra bracing or a special box. But this one happens to come with a connecting bracket, come with the wire nuts needed, comes with a white, black, and a ground. Within this bracket, these screws here are what's going to attach to the fixture itself. They come with these little nuts, one for each side, to attach it. So probably the hardest part of all this is getting this screw set right so everything's tied up against the ceiling. And this little green screw here is to wrap the ground wire around and tighten it down. So let's get this bracket hooked up there. And the other thing I did was I attached the old wire nuts to the black and the white wire just for extra protection. So this has screw holes here and here. These screws in this box will actually need to come out because this is how we'll attach it. Now within this fixture, I'll show you there's actually two screw holes in this electrical box that you can attach to. So if the screws I'm using now, if those threads were stripped, I could use a thinner one or use the screw holes right next to it. As you can see, these screws are quite long. This plate's got slots in it, so I could put it in either one of those holes if I needed to. But these screw holes happen to be good, so I'm going to use them. Now, the other thing you're going to need to do is fish these wires through the center. Just be careful not to touch your black and white together and you'll be fine. Now I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'll try and get a better picture of it when it's done. But this bracket, actually the lip fits on the lip of this. So I'll get this attached and then come back and show you what to do next. You can see these boxes aren't held in by much. Now, here's the only part where you might need to go out and get a tool. And that is some sort of wire cutters. Something to cut the wire with. Now you don't have to get specific electrical wire snips like I've got, and I'll show you. Just something to cut the wire off, because you don't want to use, if you got enough wire, you don't want to reuse this. But in my case, I'm probably going to, because I don't have a whole lot of extra. But if you got a whole lot of extra, it doesn't hurt to cut this off and start fresh. Comes with instructions. Don't be afraid to look at them. It's not a harm. So I'm going to take this ground wire and wrap it around that ground screw up there and use that to hold this fixture while I get everything in place. And I can do that because it's hooked to the plate itself. It's not hooked to the wires. And I'm only leaving enough dangling down so I got room to get in here and work. And there, that'll hold that. Now, so the wires came stripped. They just didn't come stripped enough. So if you don't have wire strippers, get you a utility knife and just press hard enough to get through the insulation. Just like that. It's filament wires, not solid wires, so make sure you twist it. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a pair of wire strippers, you just have to figure out what gauge of wire it is. And it should say on the wire itself, the gauge, it'll say a number, then an AWG. This is 18 gauge AWG. Put the amount I want in there, give it a twist and a pull, and done. Now with the wire nuts they supplied, pick white to white, and I go ahead and twist them together and then put the nut on and twist it more. And you want to twist it all the way on so that when you give it a tug, it doesn't pull off. Now black to black. Now all we got to do is hook ground to ground. All done. Okay, the hardest part of this whole thing is going to get these wires up in this box, get this hooked up in there, and hope that the screws here are at the right setting. Now, I really got no particular secret for this other than I at least try to get them all together in a bundle and kind of try to twist and push them up in there. And that is why your wire nuts got to be tight, because if not, they'll come off when you do that. And I'll take my two little nuts here and screw it on. Okay, now light bulbs don't come with it, so let me get a couple of LEDs and we'll plug them in and turn it on. Okay, these are decorative LED bulbs. It says right on the box what's the maximum wattage. Don't exceed that. Let's turn it on and see how it looks. And voila. Now how simple was that? You know there's some handymen and women out there that have done a lot of these. They probably get $100, $150 to do that. It's not that hard, people. You can do it. I got faith in you. So this next two projects, for some of you are going to seem so simple and stupid you can't believe I'm doing it. But what you need to remember is there's people out there that aren't handy at all. I've actually seen people using a cordless screwdriver strip out the bit just driving screws. So keep that in mind when you see these. But let's move on to the next one. So this next little repair project has to do with switch plates. I know, it's so simple. But say yours is broke, or you just want a bigger one, or a fancier one, or a colored one, or better yet, want to change it up with one that's got a night light in it. All you need is a standard screwdriver. Take the screw out. Don't lose that screw. Off it comes. Now, if it's broken and you want to replace it, take the broken one with you to the store. Because when you get there, there are 100 varieties of these plates. There's almond, there's white, whether they're square, how big they are. I mean, there's all kinds of them. So take the broken plate with you so you know which one to get so you don't have to make multiple trips. Now in my case, I want to put in this automatic night light. It's going to be the same principles with that switch plate. Basically you're going to put, this has a plug in it, plugs into the top outlet, put the screw in. Now some people are anal and want the screw straight up and down, the slot, others sideways. I want it tight, and that's tight, so that's where we go. When it gets dark, this comes on. On to our fifth project. And the fifth and final repair has to do with this fluorescent light bulb. Now you probably can't see, but there's one burnt out. These fixtures come in different lengths. They come as 8 foot and 2 foot that come. This is a 2 bulb that come 4, 8. I mean, there's a wide variety of these fixtures. The covers on them also vary, and the bulbs that go in them vary. Principles are the same. Push down this direction, lift up to get it out of the little groove, which I'll show you here in a minute, and pull down. Fluorescent light bulbs come typically with 2 prongs. Used to be, don't know if there still are, some that had a center prong in the middle. With the 2 prong type, it's a twisting motion. Changing fluorescent light bulbs, you don't have to shut your power off. You don't even have to turn the switch off if you don't want to. So twist till you hear that click, and out it comes. So the 2 prongs will slide up in here, and you'll twist either direction. It's going to lock in about going this direction. Prongs are going to go in this direction, and when you twist, the prongs will be this direction, and that'll engage the light. Let me go to the Home Depot, and I'll be back, and we'll put this back in. Got 32 watt, 48 inch, and I got the 6500 Kelvin temperature rating. Now that temperature rating is going to tell you how bright it's going to be. The one that's in there now are 3000. I stepped it up to get a little brighter light. Alrighty, so we're going to turn our prongs at about a 45. Get this end in first, push it all the way in. The next end in, give it a twist, and it'll kind of lock in to where it won't come out. So the only thing we got left to do is to put our cover on. Drop it down into the slots, and just like that, we're done. Now it may not show up on camera, but this new light bulb is quite a bit brighter than the old one. So that's the difference. This other one at 3000 Kelvin looks quite yellow. The 6500 looks way more brighter. So when the other one goes out and I put that one in, it should look really good. Now all the tools used in this video, except for them wire strippers, were nothing more than just basic tools. And if you want to know more about basic tools, I'll leave a link to this video right here where I did the 6 basic tools every DIY and homeowner should have. Now I have plans to make more videos like this, but leave me a comment down below if you got any DIY friendly projects you'd like to see me do. And if you want to see those videos, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. And just remember, if you got a table saw, you can DIY. Till next time, happy DIYing.